Well, the Minister of Transport, Barbara Creecy, in her budget speech outlined key targets for boosting freight and passenger rail, improving port efficiency, expanding aviation, and enhancing road safety. She highlighted ongoing rail reforms, private sector involvement, and investments in infrastructure, while addressing challenges in air traffic services and the taxi industry. Climate-conscious transport initiatives and accountability in state entities were also key points in her address. She joins us now via video link to speak to us more about this budget. Minister, very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for your time. Just for the benefit of our viewers, of course, the department's total budget in the 2025-26 financial year amounts to over 95 billion rand. So your budget really covered key priorities in a very constrained economic environment. How were you able to navigate, do you think, these strategic goals given the challenges?
Good afternoon, and of course, greetings to all your viewers. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I think what is important to say as we start off is that transport is a key facilitator for economic growth and development. And obviously, we are very pleased that over the medium term, we have been allocated 66 billion to PRASA so that we are able to conclude the rehabilitation of some of our priority lines, but even more importantly, up the signalling. Obviously, if we want to increase the number of trains and make sure that rail is a preferred means of transportation for working families, we have to make sure that trains are flowing swiftly and regularly. And we can only do this once we restore signalling to all of our priority lines. We're also pleased with the money that we've been given for road maintenance. We've taken over 3,000 kilometers of provincial roads at the request of provincial premiers. That is obviously very important because we all know that some of our feeder roads to our national roads are not in a very good condition. Of course, there is about several billions that is allocated to provinces also for road maintenance. And we want to make sure that provinces spend this effectively so that our roads are in better condition.
Minister, interesting you speak about PRASA as your first response. I mean, just your reaction following the criticism, in fact, and the pushback by the country's two main opposition parties, essentially rejecting the budget due to concerns around, they say, the proposed private sector partnerships, in fact, in the freight rail, and also, on the other hand, the lack of vision for transforming public transport. Your response to that?
Well, I think, as I said during the debate, the kinds of reforms that we are introducing in Transnet are reforms that virtually every developed and developing country across the globe have introduced. It includes China, Russia, Mexico, India, all of our BRICS partners. And really, this is a separation between freight operations and infrastructure operations. The intention is that the infrastructure will remain state-owned. And it must remain state-owned because we want to ensure interoperability. We also want to ensure that the rail system is maintained in good order. But it's very important that we increase competitiveness and we allow private sector participants on our rail network. We know that lack of availability of freight services has been an abiding constraint on our economy. We also know that private operation in our ports that has gone on for many, many decades is one of the reasons why the Transnet Ports Authority is in good financial shape. And I think that we think this will create an opportunity by bringing in third-party operators to improve the service available to customers while the network remains state-owned.
You also spoke, of course, about an important factor, something that many of our motorists have been concerned about, and that is the conditions on the road, speaking there about, of course, the provinces and the responsibilities there. Another concern, Minister, on the ground for many motorists is about the driver's license card machine backlog. Just talk to us very quickly about how that is currently being resolved.
The old machine is fixed. We have taken the procurement of the new machine on judicial review because we have been told by the Auditor General that procurement is irregular. We have also signed a memorandum of understanding with the government printer. And the government printer has indicated to us that they can support us on a temporary basis with the printing of driver's license cards, and it could take them between 6 and 12 weeks for this facility to become operational. We think that it's an excellent backstop that will allow us to clear the backlog, and also, of course, will allow us to print additional cards while we're waiting for the courts to resolve the impasse around the procurement of a new machine.
We've run out of time. I want to squeeze in this last question around the aviation sector, experiencing some concerns, including upgrades at one of the largest airports on the continent, OR Tambo International Airport, and just safety and resourcing issues at ATNS. Very quickly, Minister, just in terms of allaying fears around allocations around the aviation sector.
Yes, I think that, first of all, let me apologize to passengers who've been moving through OR Tambo in the last couple of days. There have been holdups as a result of problems with our security contract. The current security contract has been extended, and I've requested the CEO to go immediately back to OR Tambo. She was with us in the budget speech today, and make sure that the blockages are resolved for the convenience of passengers. What I can also say to you is that with regard to ATNS, we are setting up a project office in the organization so that we should be able to conclude the outstanding flight procedures that are currently operating on exemptions. We don't think that's the correct way for these flight procedures to be operating. We want to set up the project office and staff it and clear this backlog once and for all, because we are aware that especially in our small airports when the weather is bad, passengers have been inconvenienced, and we're looking forward to resolving this problem.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. The Minister of Transport there, Barbara Creecy, outlining there, of course, just the highlights through the budget that was delivered.